Your excuses don't come from laziness, they come from spiritual weakness. Every time you justify why you can't move forward, you're not speaking for yourself, you're speaking for the chains wrapped around your spirit. That's why I created the 6-week sprint to break men out of those chains. Spots are open, the link is in the description below. Okay, cool. So listen, off bat, your excuses are complete bullshit, as you probably already know. And I want you to understand that's impacting you spiritually. So spiritual chains are the real source of your excuses. So your excuses aren't mental. They don't just pop up in your brain just by happenstance, right? They come from somewhere. So realistically, you are spiritually subdued. A lot of the students that I have, I tell them you have to get into a place where you're speaking all the time. You need to be speaking from your truest version of yourself so that the truth comes out and you don't subdue yourself, right? So many of you have gone through a life where your parents told you you were wrong by the way that you operated because they wanted you to operate on the system that they're operating on, right? But you understand as a man that that's far from the truth. It's not your truth, it's their truth. And the perception that they have of you is not the same as the way that you perceive yourself. So why the fuck would you subdue your spirit and the things that you know need to come out of you, the value that you have so that you can grace the world with it, so you can get the abundance you're looking for? Why would you subdue that based upon a framework that doesn't fit you but fits the version of you in your parents' brain, right? And so what you're really fucked up, because then your body doesn't follow what it knows it should be following, which is your spirit and what you're desiring to do. So you fill it with distractions like procrastination, full-on distractions, and cheap dopamine. So you end up speaking to people, procrastinating. You get on the phone more and longer than you should. You stay on the phone with your friends all damn day long, right? The weekends, you can't wait to hop on that FaceTime call and sit on the phone for no reason. It's distractions. You feel that feeling of knowing that you're subduing yourself, or that there's a void within you because you suppressed yourself to whatever society wants you to be. That can be because of your job, because of your parents, because of your loved one, your girlfriend, the guy friends around you that you have. So you distract yourself so that you feel a bit better, right? Or you go for cheap dopamine, scrolling all day, eating junk food, sugar, right? A lot of you jump into drugs because it feels better, right? Overly sexualizing yourself along with women because it's filling that void that your spirit should be filling, right? So what does that then end up? It ends with your nervous system being enslaved to programs that feed your weakness. So you're going to sit there and continue to feed this weakness until it destroys you. Right? You have destructive loops, you have dopamine loops that are feeding off of that void that should be filled by your spirit, but it doesn't get filled because you fill it with bullshit that continue to weaken you. So realistically, you're fully in spiritual war. This is no game where you can be friendly, right? Stop giving your time away and filling it with bullshit that you know is not going to get you anywhere. You need to be very serious about your life to a degree. Right? While it's good to have fun while you're young and XYZ, you have to get to a point where you know that time is fleeting from you. You're going to die and you're not going to have the opportunity to live the life in the way that you know it current. Right? You don't respond in the body that you have right now. So if you understand that this is spiritual warfare, then every indulgence is designed to weaken the masculine spirit, because your spirit is telling you that you have value to give to the world because you were gifted a value, that once you give it to the world, you will be blessed with abundance. But you sit there and you do what? Here's you, right? Instead of making these jumps right here, the ones that actually give you power and fulfill that void, which is basically just unraveling all of the bullshit that you've wrapped the thing that your spirit should be expressing out. You're filling it with cheap dopamine. You're filling it with distractions, drugs, women, procrastination, laziness. And as you see, they're hollow. There's nothing to stand on when you start to indulge in these weaknesses. And you'll just continue to go down and further and further and further until you run out of places to go. And these loops no longer feed that void because you've now, the host is now dead, basically. You've gone spiritually numb to everything. And now you're just a fucking NPC living in a system that doesn't feed you, and you're just being blown by the wind. You're dead. You're a zombie. Right? That's the real apocalypse you should be worried about, not some fucking World War III. It's already started. It's a spiritual one. Right? And a lot of you are dying. You need to wake up and understand that this is spiritual warfare at its deepest level, and we've already engaged. You have so much value to give to the world, but you don't do it because you don't want to investigate what your value is because of what? The shit that your parents told you you were, or what your feedback loops were when you started to express yourself into the world and society told you you was a clown, or you were fake, or you're crazy. What the hell is wrong with you? You have to wake up and understand yourself to a deeper level and reclaim your sovereignty, which is your soul. Because if you continue to allow these indulgences to weaken your masculine spirit, you're going to have no structure. And what we already understand about the realm is that if you have a masculine structure, that is the only way you're going to get the abundance that you're looking for, which is feminine. So if you have a masculine structure that has a shit ton of holes in it, when money comes, you lose it. When opportunities comes, you lose it. When abundance in general comes, you lose it. You can't contain a family or a woman or a child, because what all of that requires a structured man. But you're weakening yourself by indulging, because the masculine frame that you need is not there because you indulge too much. You're really fucking yourself up, bro. And so let's bring this full circle. You need to become a spiritual heavyweight. Here you are, and this is a structure around you, right? And that's the only way you win, is by hardening your spirit. So you have to create structure around the masculine flow, or the energy or the masculine structure that you have, right? It blocks out all the bullshit. You have a more disciplined routine. And when you realize that you've gotten into a disciplined routine long enough and you're starting to plateau, you need to elevate by getting rid of your loops. A lot of you are scared or running from the ability to have a mentor, when it's the very thing that unlocks the next level for you, because you don't know what you don't know. It's the very same thing that you go through in schooling. Schooling only works for what? I think it only works for socialization. And even then, you can get that by going outside and starting a business. So realistically, you need to go get information or pay for information, because there's always going to be a paywall for information. It's just what it is. If you don't have a value to exchange for what you're asking for, and you're the only one receiving, what do you think you have to do? Pay for that information. And so what does that do? It allows you to create a structure once you've plateaued and actually exhausted your own ability to act by yourself, and proven that you are willing to commit to yourself. So once you have a structure that you're plateauing at, you see yourself at higher, and you know there's more potential. That is when you go seek information to build on your structure, because now it's time to what? Double down on your discipline, your structure, and your content creation, because that is spiritual training. Realistically, you're jumping into the algorithm, you're displaying your values, you're looking to get compensated from your values, because now you're putting it mass on the market. But it's also spiritually training you to trust your voice, trust your ability to produce, and not just spectate all of the producers, right? You're no longer going to want to be in a dopamine loop on social media, because you're actually following a disciplined structure and you're posting content. And by posting that content, we're in that realm, right? There's going to be like $350 billion within the space, in the creator space, by 2030. And you're going to leave money on the table because you act like you don't know and just stay spiritually numb until you're a zombie. And then you're going to wish you acted upon it, right? It's almost like how you see nowadays people are like, what the fuck was my grandfather doing when he was my age and he should have been locking in, right? It's the same thing your grandchildren are going to ask you, if you have grandchildren. It's real, and it's not going to be real estate and housing. It's going to be social media. If you made a personal brand and then monetized from it in a unique way that was dedicated or specific to your values, right? So when you move with authority, your content becomes the war. I don't have to fight myself every day, because I understand what I'm telling you. And if I'm telling you that, then I must live by it as well. Right. And that's why a lot of you see this bullshit on the internet and then just regard the society as failing. But you're a part of the downfall, because you understand that you have unrealized potential, but you're scared to jump on the internet and actually fight and showcase your value, because you realize that you're going to have to get rid of your dopamine loops. You're going to have to get rid of the egotistical loops. You're going to have to get rid of all of these destructive loops that you clung your identity to. But you don't want to do that. So you, my friend, are also a part of the problem. Wake up and realize that all of this is working together. It's flow. Again, spiritual and physical are mimicking each other. So therefore, everything that you understand spiritually about yourself, like your unrealized potential and all of the things that you might be building up momentum wise in the spiritual realm, you must now act in the material realm to get the things that you're looking for, or to get that feminine flow to sit in the structure that you've built. But if you sit there and act like you don't know what the fuck to do, or you don't know who to get information from, or you don't want to pay the paywall to get the information, you're going to stay stuck. And by the time you realize, it's going to be too late, right? So again, you die one day. So before you end up kicking the can, doing bullshit for the rest of your life, wake the fuck up for 2 seconds and actually try. Give your life a try. Take it a bit more serious. Get rid of these loops and actually become who you know you can become. And if you need help, again, the link is in the description below. So your closing decree: every man will face the same choice: stay chained in his excuses or become a spiritual heavyweight who can't be bent. The system profits from your weakness, but when you step into structure, authority, you profit from your spirit. Choose. Consider yourself warned.